What's up, Guru Nation? Welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Bumping some Michael Bublé in my ear, and I had to take it out because I'm going to be distracted, right? Today's video is how to assess a protocol as a research site, okay? And first of all, most of the time, when a research clinic is applying for studies, they're typically applying for a whole lot of studies, and they're just seeing what kind of response they get back from the market. Where we stand right now in 2016, it's actually September 14th, 2016, so hello everyone watching in the future. We're actually starting to see an uptick, a significant uptick in the amount of research activity, the amount of research protocols that are out there, the amount of studies that are out there. So this video is actually timely for you guys because we're just coming out of sort of a drought period where there weren't that many studies, and now we're starting to see a lot more studies coming out. So we can actually be a little more selective about the trials we take for our sites. And yesterday I did a video that the 3 most important things that a new research clinic needs to focus on. Number 1 is getting 1 study. Number 2 is putting patients, as many patients as you're allowed in that study. And number 3, it's not screwing up or losing that study. Okay, so today we're actually going to look at how to choose which study it is that you're going to take. So you may be a brand new research clinic where you only can take 1 study, or you may be a more experienced research clinic where you can take on as many studies as you can get, but as long as they make sense, right? So you won't be able to analyze the protocol right away. Typically, when you do a feasibility survey, you will be given a protocol synopsis. But quite honestly, guys and gals, that protocol synopsis is more than enough. You go through the inclusion-exclusion criteria. Yes, every protocol has some nuances that you can actually learn about from reading the actual protocol, but the protocol synopsis is good enough. And then you'll also get a much better understanding for the nuances of the protocol at your site selection visit. When the monitor comes out, they'll typically do a protocol presentation for your PI and for the research staff. So when I get a study synopsis, first of all, again, it all depends on what the market is. If we're in a low study supply market, I can't be as picky. I'm a business person. I take what I can get, and then I reverse engineer to find patients for that, all right? Now, that's not ideal, all right? An ideal market for us research clinics is right now, all right? We're about to enter a period of high study supply. So we can be more selective. We can pick. We don't need to necessarily reverse engineer whatever protocol we get and then find a way or come up with strategies on how to get patients for that. Now, we should do that when we're expanding our business, right? And we're taking on new studies that we haven't taken in the past. Then you do. Then it's a trial by error. You learn new strategies, you learn new skills. Your company gets better at conducting those type of studies, and now you're adding to your existing studies, which every site should do. But this video is going to be about how to analyze a particular study for your site, whether you want to do it or not. The only thing, well, there's actually 2 things. 2 things I care about, and then there's like a 2B. All right, number 1, am I able to enroll patients in this right now? Now, keep in mind, this does not mean can I hire a Google AdWords guy to run some Google ads and then hopefully we can get some trial participants. No. This means, does your PI or your sub-I or your sphere of influence or your network of contacts, do they have patients that you know of, right? You don't need to know their names, but you need to have seen numbers or have been told by your PI that you actually have patients to enroll in this study, right? And then whatever it is, try to find out the number of those patients, divide that by 4, because 1 out of 4 from my previous metrics will actually screen, and then 2 out of those 3 will then get randomized. So 1 out of 4 from your database will consider doing a trial, will consider getting screened, and then from those that you screened, typically you'll have a 33% screen fail rate, right? So keep those numbers in mind. Number 2, once I figure that out, so if answer 1 is no, we don't have patients, and you're in a market where there's a lot of studies out there, decline it. move on to the next one. You don't want to waste time right now. There's something called opportunity cost, where you don't want to get bogged down in managing a study that has no enrollment, aka you're losing money because you have to pay someone, a study coordinator, or you yourself have to focus on maintaining that study. There's a lot of maintenance that goes on with having a study. It's not just enrolling patients. There's IRB stuff, there's regulatory stuff, a lot of maintenance. You don't want to do that. There's something called opportunity cost. If you're doing that, that means you're not doing something else where you could be making money, right? So if number one is no, we don't have the patients, decline, right? And then I ask myself number two, is there any procedure that we cannot do at our clinic, right? Now, if the answer is no, we can do it all. These are pretty straightforward. It's a no-brainer. You take that study. If the answer is yes, there's one or two procedures that we actually don't do here, I would ask 2B. Question 2B. Do you know anywhere nearby a vendor that you can actually outsource those procedures to, right? If that is yes, then I would go talk to that vendor, get their buy-in, and then I'd do the trial. If that answer then becomes no, unless you can find some other workaround, I wouldn't take that study. So, want to keep this video short. That's how I assess whether my sites do a study or not, and I think that's a really practical approach. And in this market that we're entering right now, where there's going to be a large influx of studies, we should all become more selective at which trials we choose. Now, that doesn't mean you don't take a trial because you want to expand and you want to enter uncharted territories. Let's say you've been doing psych studies for 10 years and now you want to start doing asthma studies. Well, if that's what you want to do, as long as you're keeping a steady stream of your core competency studies coming and generating revenue, you can expand and you can open up new business lines like asthma studies, then you could do diabetes studies, and then you could sort of reverse engineer. Once you get the protocol, you can then figure out a way to get the patients. That's fine, but for those sites that are brand new or not trying to expand, you're just trying to generate cash flow right now, I would not mess around with doing things that you're not comfortable doing unless you are trying to expand, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you very much, Guru Nation. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.